Okay, our first panelist is someone that you all know, Dr. Dianne Kelly. Dr. Dianne Kelly began working in Revere Public Schools in 1995 as a math teacher. She also served as president of the Revere Teachers Association and lead teacher of the mathematics department. Dr. Kelly was also the dean of students at Revere High School, district director of mathematics, district director of math, science, and technology, and assistant superintendent. Dr. Kelly has served on several committees, including co-chair of the State of Massachusetts Mathematics Common Core Review Panel, the Massachusetts STEM Operations Board, and the K-12 to Post-Secondary Pathways Working Group. She earned her bachelor's degree in applied mathematics, as well as her doctorate in urban school leadership at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. She earned her master's degree in mathematics for educators at Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
My name is Salma, and I'll be saying about Captain Amy O'Hara. Captain Amy O'Hara has 33 years of service in law enforcement. She is currently the commander of the Bureau of Services, which includes command over the school resources officers, the behavioral health units, community events, and the media liaison. She grew up in Revere, and she is a graduate of Revere High School. Captain O'Hara has held many roles on the Revere Police Department as a patrol officer, detective, and was the first woman in history of the Revere Police Department to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. She is a third-generation police officer. Captain O'Hara was a contestant on the reality show Survivor Guatemala in 2005.
Erin works at the Revere Fire Department as a detector of fire prevention. She was born and raised in Revere and graduated Revere High School. In 2000, she joined the Army National Guard and spent 6 years as a military police officer. Erin also worked at Logan Airport after the September 11th attack. She was also deployed to Pakistan, Operation Enduring Freedom. In 2006, she transferred to the Army Reserves for other 2 years as a firefighter. Before discharging in 2008 and 2005, Erin was hired as a firefighter at the Revere Fire Department. She was the second female to be hired. She spent 9 years as a firefighter, working on Engine 1 before being promoted to the rank of lieutenant in 2014. Erin was first woman to earn the rank of lieutenant in Revere. She spent 2 years as the officer of Engine 5 before transferring into the Office of Fire Prevention as an inspector in 2016. In 2016, she took over the SAFE grants and implemented a program to provide fire safety to students and senior citizens in Revere. In 2022, Erin was promoted to the position of Director of Fire Prevention. She oversees that office.
Suzanne Iovanna is president of Pride Motor Group. In October 2014, her husband Michael was killed in a car crash. Suzanne became a single parent and the new owner of Pride Motor Group in Lynn. A 1986 graduate of the University of New England's Westbrook College with a degree in health sciences, Suzanne loved her work as a periodontal surgical assistant. After the birth of her children, she settled into the joy of raising them, supporting her daughter's elite status as a pairs figure skater and her son's success as a high school and collegiate hockey player. The idea of taking over a business with no experience in the automotive industry was terrifying, but Suzanne met each obstacle with determination. She graduated from the National Automobile Dealers Association certification program in 2017. She even traveled to Korea for training. Suzanne is one of few women who own a car dealership in America. Her inspiring story has been seen on the award-winning podcast series, The Story Behind Her Success. Pride Motor Group supports Hyundai's Hope on Wheels Walk for Cancer, Chevrolet's Wreaths Across America campaign, Girls Incorporated, and My Brother's Table.
Jessica Giannino, Massachusetts State Representative. Jessica Giannino was elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives in 2020. She began her career in politics as a city councilor at large for the city of Revere in 2012. She worked on solving issues that impact the daily lives of the citizens of Revere. In 2013, her strong leadership qualities prompted her colleagues to elect her vice president for the council. In 2016 and 2018, Jessica served as a city council president. Jessica believes it is her responsibility to ensure that Revere's government is accountable to the people, financially responsible, and forward-thinking. Jessica graduated from Revere High with the honors in 2010 and Salem State University with the Bachelor of Arts in English in 2014.
Jacqueline Monterroso is the first Latina ever elected in Revere, where she currently serves as the school committee vice chair. She is also the youngest school committee member elected by her colleagues to the position of vice chair. In her full-time job, Jacqueline is the Massachusetts Director of Policy and Advocacy at Latinos for Education. Previously, Jacqueline served as the Accountability and Dissemination Specialist in the Office of Charter Schools and School Mediation for the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. She is a former kindergarten teacher with a bachelor's in international relations and political science and minor in French from the University of Florida, and a master in education and social change from the University of Miami.
Nedhi Teixeira is an attorney and works as a law and policy consultant. Before this job, she was a family law attorney. During her time in private practice, Nedhi represented diverse clients in domestic matters such as divorce, parenting, custody, child support, and restraining orders. Nedhi is also a certified special crisis and violent prevention counselor advocate. Nedhi received her law degree from Massachusetts School of Law and her bachelor's degree from UMass Amherst, where she focused on legal studies and worked at the student legal office. Nedhi is a mom of two who enjoys creating content on Instagram to inspire other women to pursue their dreams while embracing their style and incorporating self-care.
Jenn Steele is an orthopedic physician's assistant, and my niece. Jennifer is an orthopedic physician assistant at Mass General Hospital, Salem. She graduated from Revere High in 2003 and went to Endicott College for undergraduate to study sports medicine. She then went to Duke University for PA school and has been working in orthopedics since 2012. As a PA, Jennifer treats patients before and after surgery, as well as assists the surgeon in the operating room. She enjoys working in medicine and helping people feel better.
And the Lincoln School would like to say a thank you for our good audience and a very special thank you to everybody for coming. And Lincoln School, although you may not know it, we have a group of the strongest, most successful, most intelligent, most innovative group of women perhaps that we've ever had collected in the Lincoln School. So how about a round of applause for everything that they've done? And thank you for that well-deserving applause. And we will now switch to a couple of your questions that you wrote out so thoughtfully for these leaders. This particular question is not addressed to anybody, so anybody that feels like they might want to answer it. The question is, do you ever feel like you want to or have wanted to give up?
Yes, so when I was your age, I knew from that I always wanted to be in the dental hygiene profession, clean people's teeth, and help children and adults. And when I was forced into the position of something that I had no idea about, it was like going back to school all over again, and it was very overwhelming, and at times I wanted to give up. What's worth, why am I doing this? I'm never gonna make it, but I had 2 children that depended on me, so I knew I couldn't give up. But I think you just have to keep thinking positive, and no matter what you want to do in life, you have to stick with it. And sometimes, it may not be what you wanted to do, but it's the right thing, and you just have to keep pushing forward.
Hello. First off, I want to thank you for the question. So the question is, do you ever feel like giving up? I want to let you know, whether you're a 4th or 5th grader or our age, everybody in life goes through times where you feel that you want to give up. But what I can tell you is sometimes you have to look at what is the lesson that you could potentially learn from a difficult time. Never give up. Always fight for what you believe is right, and realize, is this something that I need to continue, or is it something that I can learn from and keep going on? Because there's always a lesson to be learned in struggles.
So, as you all know, I'm an attorney, but to become an attorney, you have to take a really, really, really hard exam, which you have to study for months, and all you can do is study. And when I took this exam the first time, I failed. And at that moment, I felt like giving up. But I think in those moments, you really have to trust yourself and remind yourself why you tried in the first place, and never, ever stop believing in yourself, because that's the way you will succeed and overcome feeling like giving up.
Yeah, last, yes, no?
One more to add?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Way to start us off with a deep question, y'all. Have we ever wanted to, also, I'm a big crier, so tears are power, so they might come, thank you. So, listen, have we ever wanted to give up? This is hard. The work we do is hard. See, they're already coming. Woo! So I'm the first Latina ever elected in this city. Because I grew up in Florida. Have you ever, Disney? So, I went to school and I never had a teacher that, I can't with myself. I've never had a teacher that looked like me, right? So I actually, I had some teachers that were nice, but I also had some teachers who were like, you're not going to college. People who look like you don't go to college. People who look like you aren't going to make their dreams come true. And I was just like, I'm sorry, excuse you. Like, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do? And so it's hard to do the work we do when there aren't people who support us, right? But what's important is when you find those friends, you find those adults who do believe in you and push you. And so it's really hard, but what helps me keep moving is that I know I'm doing this work for all of you and your families, so that you can have someone who looks like you making, you're crying, I'm crying. So it's hard, but I think what's really important when you do want to give up is remembering your dreams and remembering why you want to do this work, because there will be hard times that come, but once you hold on to that why of this is why I'm doing this, to change my little world, then that's what helps you keep going.
Next question. All right. Thank you for those thoughtful answers. This next question, I think, is very relevant to everybody here, and maybe a good chance to get lots of different answers from our panel. But Ms. Amerald's class would like to know, how many years of education do you need, or did you have to get your job?
So like everybody else, I started off doing 13 years when I did kindergarten through graduating high school. And when I did my first college degree, I didn't quite finish on time, so that took me 5 years. Usually it takes 4. So what are we up to now if I did 13 and 5? Anybody help me out? 18. Then I did my master's degree, and that took 2 more years, so 20. And then my doctorate took 6 years. 26! A lot of time. All worth it. I learned a lot.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. So, for our jobs here, the police and fire, we only have to have a high school diploma. So you got to graduate high school. But then once you're on the job, to make rank, make money, you need to continue your education. So I know I have an associate's, and Lieutenant O'Hara over here has a captain. Sorry, I'm the lieutenant. Captain O'Hara has a bachelor's degree. So that's what you need. High school, you got to graduate high school.
But one more thing I'll add, and I think this is true of everybody up here, you never, ever, ever stop learning. Life takes you down different paths and you find new things to study and new things to learn about. And it might be formally in college, or it might be because you joined the military, or it might be because you took on a new career overseeing a whole dealership organization. There's a million different reasons. So really, school is just a way of life.
So, and then for me, I also did 5 years of college for my first degree, an extra year to take classes to get into PA school, and then 2 years of PA school. So I guess after high school, my total was 8. But like Dr. Kelly said, we're always learning in our careers, in our lives, in our families, with our friends, and especially in medicine, because if medicine stayed still, we would still be treating patients like we did 50, 100 years ago. So we say that as providers in medicine, we're lifelong learners. So we're constantly learning and reading and teaching, all to make our lives better for you guys, or our knowledge base better for, the people that we serve.
All right. Our next question is actually for Dr. Kelly specifically. It comes from Nathan in 5th grade, and he wants to know, have you ever been a teacher before?
So I still consider myself a teacher. I taught high school in East Boston for 2 years, and then I started teaching at Revere High School, and I taught there for 8 years, and then I went into administration. But I still feel like my job is all about teaching, and that's where my heart and my passion are. I think that right now I spend more time teaching and learning from the adults that I work with and from parents, whereas before I spent my time teaching and learning from the students who were in my class, some of whom are on this stage right now. But I've always considered myself to be a teacher, and that's who I am in my heart. This is a different job that I do now, but that's still who I am.
And our next question is definitely for the whole panel. The question is, what was the job you wanted when you were a kid, and is that the job that you ended up with? And that comes from Emma. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. So I think it's really important, and anytime I share my story, I like to talk about sometimes you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, and that's okay too. And when I was growing up, there were a bunch of different things that I wanted to be when I grew up. My dad worked with Captain O'Hara in the police department, and for a little while I thought I wanted to be a police officer. And my uncle and my grandfather worked with Lieutenant, I'm blanking, Lieutenant Erin. And I thought I wanted to be a firefighter. And then I had some amazing teachers at the high school. Miss Burrill was one of my favorite teachers, and Miss Tucker. And after I had them in high school, I said, I think I want to be a teacher. And I went to Salem State, and I went to school to be a teacher. And then when I was in college, I realized that I had a voice, and it was really good at advocating for other people. And I started getting involved in student government, and that's when I ran for office in Revere. So sometimes what you originally think you want to do when you grow up can change. Now, some people know when they're very young, maybe your age, that when they grow up they want to be a firefighter like Lieutenant Erin, or a police officer like Captain O'Hara, or a dentist, or own a car dealership, or be a lawyer, or be a teacher, and that's great. But if you're sitting there and some of your friends know what they want to be and you don't quite yet, that's okay too, because I really didn't. And sometimes you find your voice when you get a little bit older. And sometimes you do something one day that you feel makes you feel really good. And you walk away from a conversation and you say, wow, I get this. I feel like I did really good at that. And for me, that was when I was in student government at Salem State. And now I get to use my voice at the State House every day to advocate for you guys and for our school system and for our city to make sure that we get everything that we need at the state level.
Hi, thanks for the question. For me, I always wanted to be a Revere police officer. I am a third-generation police officer. So my great-grandfather was on the Revere Police Department in the 1800s. And then my great-uncles were Revere police officers. And my dad was a Massachusetts state trooper. It's something I've always wanted to do. And it's just... And to do this job, you have to take an exam. So I wrote down goals on how to become a police officer, and I'm so happy that I'm in this role today because it's the best job on the planet where you can serve your community and protect your community.
I wanted to be an actress when I was little. I wanted to be on TV. But as I got older, I experienced something that was life-changing, and that's when I decided I actually want to be an attorney. But what I realized is what I dreamt of when I was little, I could still incorporate into my new job as I'm older. So that's where I found social media and going into courtrooms. It was kind of like acting, but it was also helping. So I guess even if you have dreams when you're little, don't feel like you can't do it when you're older. Just get creative.
Thank you for those answers. The next question comes from Justin, and it's a very thoughtful question. I feel like we could probably talk for many hours on it. But the question is, how do you help the community? I'm sure there's many different ways, probably hundreds of different ways. Anybody have a story or something they'd like to share about how they help the community?
You can start. Okay. So my deal is, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You sure? So Pride Motor Group has been in business for over 50 years. And one thing that, before my in-laws passed away, they taught me that, you need to give back to the community. And when I took over, I decided to get involved with My Brother's Table, which is an organization for homeless people. So I get some of my employees and we go and serve them lunch or dinner. And then I'm also involved in Girls Inc., which is an organization for girls to go, it's an after-school program, and teachers are there and they learn things to do their homework, how to take care of themselves, maybe some ideas of what they want to do when they grow up. And so I go there and talk to them and sometimes read to them. So I think it's real important to give back to the community, and it makes you feel good.
as firefighters, we help our community, specifically in my role in fire prevention, is we go out into the community and we educate. Some of you might have seen me here teaching you specifically. I do the fire safety education for the schools, for the students. I also do it for the seniors. We go into people's homes and check them out to make sure that they're safe, and if they're not, we give them feedback on how they can make it safer. We also go into all the buildings in the communities and do inspections to make sure that they're safe for the public. Also, as firefighters on a daily basis, even responding to calls, we're always helping the community, because usually when somebody calls us for help, they're usually not having a good day. Something's wrong, and they need somebody to assist them. So we're always out there trying to help people, whether it's take them to the hospital, put out a fire, answer a call about where your smoke alarms go. Everything we do is about helping the community.
I think there's a lot of ways. I think one way I help is by being me and looking like me. And so, in a lot of the places I am for my job, there's not a lot of people who look like me or speak other languages, but there's so many people in our community that are Latino, are from a lot of different other countries. And so, by being able to represent that experience, by being able to connect with our families who speak another language. ¿Quién aquí habla español? ¿Dónde están los que hablan español? ¡Ay! So imagine that connection, right? So like, me encanta. Okay. Oh, I started something. Thanks, friends. So by being able to communicate with our community and your parents when they have questions or they need something in a way that makes them feel comfortable, I think that's one of the biggest ways that I get to help our community and a lot of the families that we work with.
All right, and we know you have many important places to be and things to do, so we won't keep you long. Just 2 more questions. This one comes from Ryan in grade 5. He says, what was your favorite subject in school, and does that help you now with your job?
No. I have to love all of the school questions, right? My favorite subject in school was math, believe it or not. Yes, who else? Math rules the world, I gotta tell you. But one of the reasons that I liked math so much is because I found it interesting. And when I did become a teacher, I wanted to be a math teacher because I had this experience where my junior year in high school, I had a teacher that wasn't very good and maybe didn't make us all feel welcomed in the class, and it was hard to learn in that class. And then the next year, I had a teacher who was awesome and made us all feel like we should be rocket scientists and that we were the smartest people ever. And that made me think, I should go to school so I can be a math teacher like Mr. Stengel, that was my teacher senior year, and so that kids can learn in a way that's not like my junior year teacher made me feel. So math was always my favorite subject. It does help me now, first of all, because I was a math teacher when I taught at the high school. But even today, as superintendent, I do a lot of work with data. I know you do a lot of work with data in your math classes. And just understanding the math behind the data really helps me figure out ways that we can make the school system better for everybody.
I loved gym class. That was my favorite class. Anybody else? Gym class? Yeah, okay. But surprisingly, gym class is important and does help me today because I'm an attorney, I'm a mom, I'm a content creator, so I'm always on the go, 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 and I realize how important it is to take care of your health and to be active and active in a healthy way. So gym class is fun, but it's also important. to realize that you have to take care of yourself and your health so that you can do all the amazing things that you do.
My favorite subject was science, and that's why I went into dental hygiene, but because my life turned around and I had to do math, it was very difficult in the beginning because I never liked math. So I think my point is, even though you may not like every subject, you do want to pay attention to every subject. So.
Ironically, my favorite subject in school was always history. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was younger, but as I got older and into high school, I started taking different classes, and I took anatomy, and that was really a life-changing class for me because I realized how much I loved that aspect of science. And that with other life events, injuries led me to go into medicine, but I think the take home for me is as you get into high school and college, venture out, try new things, because it may not be what you love today that is what you'll love forever. So it's always worth trying something you may not be comfortable with.
And we just have one more question. Before we ask the last question, how about one more round of applause for this collection of talents, expertise, leadership. And something a little quicker, a little lighter. Maybe we can hear from, I don't know, every panelist on the panel. Do you have any pets? They would like to know if you have any pets. Any pet owners like to start us off?
I have a small Boston Terrier. Her name is Maisie, and she's almost 6 years old. She's super cuddly, loves to go underneath the blankets, and she was my first baby.
I have a 4-year-old golden doodle. Her name is Rosie with a Z, and she's also my first baby.
I don't have any pets. It's a lot to take care just of myself. So to take care of a pet is a lot, but I do have plants. I love plants.
I have a cockapoo, Winston, and he is 12.
I have a 16-year-old miniature dachshund. She's red and she's long. She looks like a hot dog, and she was definitely my first baby.
So I don't have any pets of my own, but I do have 3 dog nephews and 2 dog nieces.
So I have a miniature pinscher Chihuahua mix he's really cute. He's really cute. His name is Sam Adams. He's a rescue, so we don't know how old he is. We think he's about 12, but the cutest thing is he's a little old man. He has no teeth because they all fell out because he's so old, so his tongue sticks out of his mouth, and he's really cute. My Sam.
All right, and to wrap up, I'm going to pass the microphone to Mrs. Sermon, but how about one more round of applause for this monumental event?
That's our school signal to be quiet. Very good. So I want to personally, representing our admin team, Ms. Cordes, where's Ms. Cordes? Oh, right here, blending in with the kids. And then our other assistant principal, Miss Magna, who's not here. It is such an inspiration, not just for you guys, but for us adults, to hear about these phenomenal women. I think I was reading Lieutenant Leary's bio, and I almost had tears because she sent pictures of her in the military, and I'm like, how cool it is to see a female, be the only female, and you have all these guys, and they probably think you can't do what they do. Or you have a police officer, they're like, you can't do what they do. Or you have the boss of all the schools in Revere, you can't do what she does. You have an attorney sitting here in courtrooms where men are challenging you. You have a CEO of an auto company. Do you know she's going into meetings where they're like, please, she doesn't know anything about cars. Who is she? What does she know? Every single woman here is showing you their leadership. What was our word of the week? Leadership. The connection. But I'm looking at we have a school committee member, the first Latina, and a lot of us are I don't think you understand their schedule. It's not easy for them to come here middle of the day to be here. You have a Massachusetts state representative that is going into the State House for meetings all the time. You have someone who is in surgeries all the time. All of these women are always dealing with men telling them no. You can't do this. So I want you to understand, you can go into any field you want and dominate. So this is why we did this. Do you think I knew I'd be principal here? I had a woman who believed in me. So you look at them as inspiration of your future, of what you can be, because people will always say, you can't do that. You won't be able to because you have a family. You have this, you have that, you broke it, and it's not true. So I want to say thank you. I think all of us want to say thank you to them. Stand up, give them a round of applause again. We really appreciate all of you coming. So we have a plan. Thank you. Good job, you guys. You guys were great audience members. We have a plant from the Lincoln for each and every one of you with our school. And that's why we're wearing the purple. But we want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You didn't have to be here. You could have said no. And every single one was like, yes, when? Let's go. So thank you so much. We really appreciate this. 1 sec, you guys.
I just wanted to add one more thing to what Mrs. Sermon said, and it really is so important for all of the young ladies in this room to understand that you can be anybody that you want to be. But I think it's also very important for the young men in this room to understand that they can be anything they want to be too. And even with all of the support that we've had from different women in our lives, there have been different men in our lives who have held us up as well. And so I know that the young men in this room right now are going to recognize the importance of being supporters of us. We all need to support each other no matter what.